the scorekeeper.
My pleasure.
Okay, Beck, take it away.
Okay, resolution number 1 you'll be voting on, that NSBA opposes any legislative and regulatory mandates that would impose new and unfunded or underfunded mandates. Okay. Resolution.
Let's keep it going.
Yep. Resolution 2. NSBA supports legislation at the state level to hold school districts financially harmless whenever they experience unanticipated, significant loss of revenue due to tax certiorari's and the okay. Thank you. Oh. These have been presented before in our sunsetting, correct. Number 3. Resolve NSBA supports legislative proposals that would allow districts to adopt an earlier start to the instructional year, with those dates being eligible for state aid, and also allowing for extending the school year beyond the last Regents exam.
Maria is shaking her head frantically. This would help. We have to negotiate the calendar with NFT, as you know, but this would allow us to get state aid if we were to start a school year in August.
Okay, number 4. NSBA supports preserving Medicaid funding to school districts while also seeking to streamline associated reporting requirements and provide reimbursement for all required administrative costs.
Thank you.
Number 5, that NSBA supports additional state and federal funding which would be dedicated for school safety programs, staff, and equipment, and include prevention programs directed towards social emotional development and mental health programs.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Becky, you're going to get a huge raise after this. Keep going. Number 6.
I'll probably get the prize at our last meeting tomorrow.
No, you're going to get more work because you got this done faster.
Okay. Number 6, NSBA supports proposals establishing additional dedicated funding for student health and mental health services. Okay. Number 7, NSBA opposes shifting financial responsibility for preschool special education from the counties to the districts. The counties right now are financially responsible for providing preschool special education.
Yay.
It's a yes.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't want another burden.
Number 8, NSBA supports legislation that allows the date of the annual reorganization meeting to be on or before the Monday following the 20th of July. I really don't think that's applicable to our district. Am I correct? Oh, it could be? Okay.
That way we can have our reorg meeting anytime between the first, we don't have to have it in the first week.
Mm-hmm.
That gives us flexibility.
Okay. So. Okay. So it's a no? Thank
you. No problem. No problem.
Okay. Number 9, NSBA supports legislation to exempt expenditures related to school safety from the tax cap. When we do our tax cap calculation, this is proposing that we have exclusions, like our local share of our debt, our capital debt, things like that. They're saying that we should be able to also exclude certain school safety expenditures. So.
I have a concern with taking them out of the kid, and by my reasoning. If they allow it to come out of the tax cap, then they're going to expect everybody to pay for it. If it stays within the tax cap, then I would expect the state to pay for it. Do you follow my reasoning?
I do, but right now we are paying for it.
Yes.
Yeah,
We-
that's
we
my
do
only
pay
cau,
for
my
it.
only caution is that if it comes out of the tax cap, right now we're paying for it. I think the resolution, whoever is gonna be the representative, that there should be, amendments to the resolution should not be part of the tax cap and the state should reimburse us for safety.
Well, see, they're saying that we should be able to use those expenses to our benefit in the calculation of the tax cap.
Right, so in other words, eliminate them is what they're saying.
Right.
Not calculate them in
Right.
another. You follow my concern is though, then they could say, well, it's not part of your tax cap, so you just raise taxes, pay
Yeah.
for it.
Can
No,
I
I'm
just-
fine, I'll support the
Can-
resolution.
I would ask for your support, and let me tell you why. Not probably not this budget year, but next budget year. We've looked 2 years ahead. If everything holds the way it is, we may have a negative tax cap. So anything that could come out of it would help us not go into a negative tax cap. And if we have a negative tax cap here in the district, that means we have to have 60% majority. So it's your decision, but I appreciate.
we're fine.
I appreciate the yes vote on supporting it.
I can mock up something for you guys to look at next meeting if you would like. Okay.
We're talking the same thing, I'm just giving you a different scenario.
Okay.
We're good.
So is your vote yes or no for Judy? Support, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, number 10. NYSBA supports legislation that would substantially increase the earning limitations for retired police and other law enforcement officers who are serving as school resource or safety officers.
That means a cap, yes.
Yes.
Is that a negative or positive?
No, to increase the limitations. So,
So we didn't get penalized if they took the job, you're saying?
No, increase the limitations means.
That's if they're retired, right?
to raise it, instead of 30,000, they could earn,
Let them earn more money.
Yeah, let them earn, sure, yes.
yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
Number 11.
They are tricky. I think it's a good thing. It helped us get one of our great police chiefs, right?
It did.
Right.
It allowed us to get Chief Del Porto. Not to be personal about this, but I think it's a good thing
Yeah.
because he's able to earn what you feel he's worth.
Okay, number 11. NYSBA opposes any legislative or regulatory effort to grant tenure status to non-instructional school employees.
Agreed.
Okay. Number 12. NYSBA shall seek legislation to streamline the tenured teacher hearing process set forth in Ed Law 3020A in a way that preserves due process while addressing spiraling costs and extraordinary length of time to conduct hearings. 13, NYSBA supports all efforts to improve school safety by limiting or reducing unauthorized access to guns in schools. 14, NYSBA shall take a leadership role in raising awareness and understanding of the importance of all school districts leaders in understanding and taking action to address disproportionality in the education workforce and in student outcomes as it relates to diverse backgrounds. In carrying out this mission, NYSBA shall develop training, encourage, discussions, community discussions, active role in collaboration. That's some of the items that would include.
You do a great job of it as a school board here.
Okay. 15, NYSBA supports legislation and regulatory changes at the state level that would authorize school districts and BOCES to directly offer childcare as automatically licensed providers with processes that are acceptable for employment in public schools.
Maria is our newest board member. You know why this is important, because it would help the school district use our license to provide childcare, and we have a latchkey issue for some parents in the morning. So this would be huge to allow Maria to certify the people, give her more work.
Their goal.
Yeah.
Number Oh, I'm sorry. Number 16, resolve that NSBA supports the state providing needs-based funding for dual enrollment courses for students. Those are the college courses, the dual enrollment college courses.
You do that already, but I think it would be great to get support.
Okay, number 17, NSBA supports a requirement to have district-supplied naloxone, which is Narcan, available for use in all school buildings.
We do it now. Every one of our schools currently has Narcan, I call it Narcan, in our AED boxes. Sorry, sad to say that, but we have to be prepared. We've had that at the high school, unfortunately.
Well, I support it.
Okay. Number 18, that resolve that NSBA supports state investments to support local grow-your-own teaching programs. Again, something we've done.
Hey,
Okay, 19, resolve that NSBA advocate for the state to conduct feasibility studies and reviews regarding utilities, infrastructure, logistical, and fiscal aspects of zero-emission school vehicle mandate, and to revise the mandate as the reviews or studies deem necessary and appropriate.
well, this is to conduct a study. Look, can we just take a look at this one? Because
Yep.
right now, we are required to have zero-emission buses in a year or two,
2025.
2025.
And I think we can ask for an extension to 27, a
Right.
waiver.
This, I think this helps us extend that.
It does.
But I know you're very economically, and I know you're all about green, Mr. Petrosi. Is it? No, I don't, I mean, this just pushes it's just a study.
Yeah, this is asking for, that they do a study and based on those results, adjust the mandate if it's appropriate.
That's if they do the study correctly.
Well,
If my no was because the study would, the states, every one of the studies that I've dealt with in the business community is everything is possible and none of it's possible.
would you like to vote yes or no for this? Okay.
Oh, it's going to come back again, just wait.
Okay, number 20, resolve that NSBA supports legislation to eliminate Regents exam testing at the high school level in favor of state final exams that comply with Every Student Succeeds Act, the ESSA Act, regulations in 10th, 11th grade for ELA, math, and science.
Yeah, I think I would encourage you to say yes so that you can recognize other pathways for kids other than sitting for a global studies exam or something that they may struggle with. There might be a fine arts way to do that. There might be what other pathway could there be, Rick? Arts. So there may be a student who's very proficient in the arts but is not doing well in global studies. That may be more relevant to his or her career. This allows more flexibility to school districts, which I think is better handled in your hands than at the state level.
Okay.
Thanks.
21, resolve that NSBA will advocate for an update to the rates established for compensating providers for preschool services provided to students with special needs and exceptionalities. The rates have been stagnant for a long time.
They're not keeping up with the CPI or inflation.
Okay, number 22, resolve that NSBA supports changes to the laws and regulations regarding the provision of preschool educational services to students with special needs, including Section 4410, in order to remove specific barriers to the efficient and effective delivery of those services.
It would be really helpful. It would be really helpful. Would you agree, Maria? This would be, we struggle here because of different certification needs. Thank you.
Okay, 23, Resolved that NISBA supports full individual Wi-Fi and cellular access for every household across New York State. It just says every household, so.
Yeah. I think your assumptions, yeah, I think
Well, it's because they had to pay for ESPN.
your assumption is right, Mike. So
Yeah,
noted.
it doesn't say, I mean, we can,
Well, I think whoever's at the meeting should propose an amendment that the state pays for.
yep, well, there's, yes.
Scorekeeper, got it?
I'm hearing a yes, I think.
My suggestion is the proposed amendment to that is that the state pays for with that service. We have an agreement, to propose the amendment? Okay. If the amendment passes, obviously it's a yay. If the amendment fails, do we still support it? Amending this, that the school board supports full and individual Wi-Fi cellular access for every household, and New York State pays for it, is the amendment. New York State pays for it. The amendment I'm sure that will pass. But if it doesn't pass, do we still support the resolution? Okay, we're supporting it, then if we have to pay for it, we're in support of it. Okay, he's a yay there. I'm a nay.
Okay. I'm a yay.
You're a yay, he's a yay. Clara, Paul? Paul's a nay.
You're a nay, you even amend it?
No, I'm a yay to amend it. If the amendment passes, I'm yes. I'm not for supplying it if we have to pay for it.
So for two.
So we're good on the amendment, and let's have the yays.
I'm a yes for the amendment,
Is yes for amendment
I'm a no
if we have to pay.
if it's not.
If the amendment fails, I'm a no, 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 no. You're a yes or no?
I'm
No.
a no if it doesn't go.
If the amendment fails, we vote no.
So as written, it's no.
As written, no. Amendment, yes.
Okay. Number 24, resolved that NISBA include as a legislative priority issue, reforms to funding for charter schools, thereby removing the burden from high-need districts and shifting the burden to New York State and federal resources.
Yes.
Yes.
25, resolved that NISBA support legislation at the state level that would allow school districts whose pre-kindergarten programs are oversubscribed to show enrollment preference to students who would be eligible for free and reduced price lunch and/or are English language learners.
I have mixed emotions on that one, so you're gonna leave some kids out? I think that's crazy, but that's me.
So
I don't know, I'm just,
it's no or?
colleagues. It's saying if you have 100 slots and you have 120 kids, the free and reduced lunch, which would be the poorer kids, would go first. And the wealthier kids, I think it should be amended that they should pay for all of them.
Well, they're saying if you don't have enough slots.
Make the slots.
So is it a yes or no to the resolution as written?
I heard one no. I think we're gonna amend this one, but as written. Ladies and gentlemen, wake up.
I'm sorry, so I'm reading through. I'm actually, if it wasn't it's going to be for all, actually going to 9 months.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's why these are
Those
our,
families that have more opportunity would be, would have to. I'm okay with it, but that's just one person.
okay,
I'm all right with it.
three.
I read it over, yeah. I'm good with it.
My preference would be, you figure out maybe we can provide it.
Well, we're gonna propose an amendment on that.
That's just in school lunch, right?
No,
No,
it's
no.
kindergarten,
Pre-K
pre-K.
for people
You would give preference to students who qualify for free and reduced price lunches or who are ELLs, which is English language learners.
See, the downside of that for me is you may have someone that doesn't qualify for free or reduced lunch and has special needs, and they should definitely be in pre-K. Definitely, to get a head start.
They would get it through the special ed department.
All right, so what do we have? I have a yay, how many yays?
Yes.
Okay, so Paul, you're a no? Okay, Paul's a no, yay, I mean, I'll support it, yay, so it's gonna be yay. But I think we should propose an amendment that the slot should be increased for all, and the state should provide the aid on the slots.
So essentially this would replace the lottery system?
Yeah, no, this is a lot of, no, you're correct, there's no lottery here, it's based on income. Yes.
You're correct. Right now, we do it by lottery.
So less,
Right now, that's how we currently do it.
Or give more weight to certain individuals within that system?
Right. Right now, it's done purely by lottery. That's how we do it. Now, for those listening at home especially, this board doesn't have to face these issues because we have Head Start. We always create extra classes. You've always supported it.
We provide it.
We
provide
always,
that slot.
the ladies and gentlemen of this board always do it. So it's a little bit more nebulous for them, for those that are listening at home, because we always do it in the district. But currently, you're correct. Students are given preference by lottery.
We don't turn anybody down, and I think
Not in
that's-
Niagara Falls, Russ,
And it
you're
should
right.
be, everybody should be doing the same thing. If a child wants to start school, that's my reason, rationale. So we propose the amendment, create the slots, state reimbursement. If that fails, we still support the resolution. That's what I hear. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Number 26, resolve that NYSBA advocate that the state research if New York students who are already being administered grades 3 through 8 tests via computer perform better on computer-based tests versus paper-based tests for full funding of such computer-based testing.
I just want to say again, this school board has insisted that we use computer-based testing for how long, Ray? We've been doing computer-based testing for
I'd say 5 years.
5 years. We've already done this, so again, the board members are at a disadvantage because we're ahead of the curve here.
So, yes, okay. 27, excuse me. Resolve that NYSBA supports legislation that amends the current civil service system to bring it up to date with changes to the duties potential employees will be assigned.
Thank you.
Thank you. 28, resolve that NYSBA support legislation to exempt debt service expenditures related to litigation under the Child Victims Act from the tax cap. Yes. Number 29.
Yeah.
Agree. 29, that NYSBA advocate for passage of legislation that would seek to decouple student standardized test scores as a metric in determining a teacher's APPR rating.
I would, first of all, I would urge you to support it. This is the longstanding fight that a teacher's professional rating is based on their test score, student test scores. And we've never been able to find a way to do this equitably or fairly, and it continues to be a nebulous, unclear process and has not worked.
Okay.
Well, that's my opinion.
And we're good on that one, right? Okay, number 30, resolve that NYSBA supports legislation that would fully fund universal access to free meal programs for every K-12 student within the state. 31, resolve that NYSBA supports legislation that would allow but not require New York school districts to offer early voting in the annual school budget vote and Board of Education election, consistent with early voting allowed in non-school district elections.
This is an interesting one.
Can't get people to vote.
Yeah, but early voting is more burden on us for the 5 votes that are gonna come in. I believe if people want to vote, they should get out and vote. That's my opinion. So, especially for the budget, you'll have a group of no that'll vote no on everything. No, I do not support this.
Okay, number
Wait, I'm only one.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. Colleagues.
What do you think, gentlemen and ladies? No?
No,
It's no.
No.
Judy's smiling.
I am smiling.
Look at
yes.
Judy smiling at your vote.
Yes, I am smiling.
Okay,
Right, Judy? That,
From my perspective, you are correct.
Judy wrote a
Judy's
really
been lobbying that one.
dark pencil.
I was quick looking at how much time I have left to serve.
Judy, did you write in big letters for that one?
I did.
hey, mine's in yellow over here.
number 32, resolve that NYSBA supports legislation that would revise New York school receivership law to remove punitive consequences and provide a more supportive, equitable system for assisting schools and school districts in need of improvement.
Once again, I'll comment, we are not in receivership in any of our schools. It really puts a bad tag on a school and a school district. You're not going to get into receivership in this district. We won't let that happen. But those that have it really puts puts a school board and a school district in a bad light.
Vote yes on the
I
resolution.
think I'm looking around the table. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, number 33, resolve that NYSBA supports legislation that would require the Smart Schools Review Board to meet monthly and promptly acknowledge, review, and act on all school district submissions.
So this would be, if we, be a no for me, no, right?
Well, may I?
Yeah.
We wait years to get approval for stuff.
Still waiting for stuff.
They should be meeting every week. This is to prove, we have, just again for the listening audience, Ray is in charge of submitting this. We have $2.66 million worth of money left to spend. If Ray puts in a project today, I know Earl Bass, when he gets here, would be laughing and saying, I voted for that in my first term and we're just doing it now. They have to improve this.
Well, wait, hold on a minute, folks. Maybe, Mark, I'm
Yeah.
agreeing with you, but this is saying this is sunsetting.
Okay?
So you correct me if I'm wrong. They're saying this is requiring them to meet monthly, and this is sunsetting, which means they're not required to be monthly.
Oh,
Am I reading it right or am I
you
reading it wrong?
might be, Russ.
Well, the resolution is supporting legislation that would require the Smart Schools Review Board to meet
Yes,
monthly.
you're right. I'm back with
So
that.
this
We are-
resolution wants legislation to require that they meet monthly.
I like it.
Well, I think we're both agreeing with that. We want,
That's a good question. Why
Well,
would
if
NYSBA
you
not
look
recommend?
if you look down below, well, they do say that the committee, NYSBA's committee, recognized the strain on district planning and finances when this resolution was adopted. So they adopted it because it was taking so long. They're saying, though, that the committee also recognized that the Smart Schools Review Board, with the support of the State Education Department and Division of Budget, has been regularly meeting and distributed a majority of the funding. So they're thinking that it's already basically been distributed, that they meet on a regular basis. This isn't necessary. I personally,
Ray, is this
I would
necessary?
support this.
We definitely need them to review it as many times as possible to get to the
I vote yes.
Yeah, thank you. You all right with that,
yes.
Russ?
Okay, so NESBA, I think we're all saying the same thing, but I don't know what this vote is. Vote,
Then you would be-
NESBA is not voting for the sunsetting. This resolution says sunsetting.
Several of the
But,
earlier ones
yeah,
also
several
did.
of the previous ones did too.
I think that's irrelevant. I think that's just advisory that this is sunsetting.
And the reason for which it's before you.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get them to meet more often. So it's, yeah,
Thanks.
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes.
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 We're not going to support NESBA's no. We're voting yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 34, that NISBA supports proposals that would make kindergarten attendance mandatory.
NISBA's not supporting this, they're voting no.
NISBA's committee is not recommending it, but do you support the resolution?
Yes,
Well, I'm going to ask you to support this.
yes.
It makes no sense, and frequently we hear, well, we don't send our kids to kindergarten because it's not mandatory. That's very frustrating to hear. Yeah,
Yes?
no,
Are
6
yay,
years old.
everybody?
You do not. There's not much I can do to you. Except have a really nice conversation with you. Thank you. Thank you, board members.
Okay.
What are you on, Beck?
35, resolve that NISBA support legislation at the state and/or federal level for a waiver for small and rural school districts from the law that mandates that all school vehicles be zero-emission vehicles.
I think there should be a waiver for all school districts.
Yeah.
It
Not
should
just
be-
small.
Amendment should be all school districts, proposed amendment. And then, I mean, we could support the little ones.
So NISBA says they do not want, they don't want all electric vehicles.
NISBA's committee is saying that they feel this resolution is counter to the state's goal of, zero emission. But it's up to you. Do you support the resolution as it's written, that you would like to waiver for small and rural districts from the law mandating that all school vehicles be zero-emission vehicles? As written, what I'm hearing is no, but if amended, yes.
I point out that number 36 addresses the proposed amendment.
Oh,
All right, why don't we go to 36 and read 36? Where are we?
Okay.
Then we'll come back.
36, resolve that NISBA supports the repeal of the law that mandates all school vehicles be zero-emission vehicles.
I agree.
So that's a yes.
Well, that's what I was asking, because I was
right.
So they're saying they don't want any mandates for electric vehicles.
No, they're saying they're not supporting this, to remove.
They're not supporting the mandate
Mandate
to have
to have zero emission. Oh,
No,
They're not supporting the resolution. Let me just walk through this.
sure.
30, I believe 36 is saying that NISBA is not supporting a resolution that supports the repeal of the law that mandates all school vehicles be zero emission.
That's correct.
NISBA wants zero emission vehicles everywhere.
Correct.
Right. They're following the state.
Correct. So then you could decide, do you support the resolution as it's written or not?
Okay, okay. So you're supporting the no vote. I'm a yes vote. I'm support repealing it.
You're a yes vote
I'm
for
a
number
vote,
36.
I'm a vote to repeal the mandates of all
Okay.
this zero baloney.
I would vote opposite of this.
Okay, so
No,
you'll have
so I'm a
to,
yay, he's supporting NESBA, which is no.
okay. So how would you like Judy to record?
Well, no, there's only, we saw Russ and Rob, and we're canceling each other out. In the backyard.
Russ Pagula.
Okay, so we have who wants to support, okay. This is a repeal of the law that mandates zero emissions. I support repealing the law.
I will vote based on what Ms. wants. I will vote no. 35 and 36.
Okay, he's a no. No, I'm a yay. Mike, Clara, Tony. Well, you don't get,
They do have bigger problems. Let the state worry about the gas fumes.
we don't have enough votes to do it anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4.
I say no.
I just, I think I just want to clarify, I think Ross might have got it backwards. You're voting, you would vote no, and we're voting yes.
To number 36.
That's correct.
Correct.
I'm with you.
I think you said it that way.
No, I think NESBA's voted, NESBA's suggesting no.
No, okay, wait a minute.
NISBA wants to repeal.
You, knowing what you want to do, you want to vote no for 36.
You don't, no, hang on a second. No, NESBA is not supporting the repeal.
No, but at this point, you are voting on the resolutions.
It
Okay?
doesn't matter what NISBA's doing.
Yeah, regardless of NISBA's
Okay,
position,
so I'm
if you're
voting-
voting on this resolution, are you voting yes or no?
I'm voting to repeal it.
So
That's
you're
yes.
voting yes for
Yes.
number 36 in your,
And I have a no, and I have a no, and I have another no. So it'll be no.
no.
Supports.
By the way, in all my years in the board, my short term, there's always one of these in every single,
One. I think there's 4.
there's only one, that we all,
There's
Judy,
always one
Judy, you had
gotcha.
something there, Judy?
Yes.
I got it.
What? You're a very optimistic guy, Rob.
Well, imagine if we had Vallardo.
Judy,
Yeah.
It'd be no.
you were saying something.
Nope, I'm all set.
She's all set, okay. No.
I'm sorry, Mr. Massaro? The vote then is no. They do not support the repeal.
Okay, number 37, resolve,
Mrs. Holliday?
oh, I'm sorry. Number 35,
Yeah, it was the same.
I will,
He said both. 35.
Paul said no, yes, but nobody else cast a vote except.
I vote yes on 35.
okay. Do we need to read 35 again? Yep.
I think most people said no to both. Tony said no to both. No to
Okay.
both, no to both, that's no to both.
Okay. So we are moving along to 37. Resolve that NISBA support legislation that would reduce the required number of lockdown drills conducted each year.
Reduce it?
Yes.
That's
They-
stupid.
They,
No.
they feel that the lockdown drills cause trauma to children. That's why they're asking you to reduce them.
Yeah.
And I think eventually lockdown drills will become like fire drills. You know what I mean? You'll get used to it, and I think unfortunately we need to get used to it.
We used to like fire drills when I was a kid.
Yeah, because we used to go home.
Well, that was when we were older. Whoops. When we were younger.
I was supposed to say that,
I'll just tell you that our kids and our parents have been very supportive of
Yeah.
all of the drills we do, and I will tell you that our principals are very sensitive to our special needs children who are sensitive to sound or scared and talk these things through. So it has not been a problem in this district to do lockdown drills.
I think it's a necessary evil.
Pardon me? Yeah, that was back in the 30s,
What was in the
That was,
70s
that was,
too?
the 1830s.
that was in the,
Yeah.
It really, our
and the
Duncan cover.
Angelo in the 50s too. No, unfortunately, it's a necessary evil these days.
Okay.
Yeah, we have
So
to
you're
have-
voting no on 37.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. 38, resolve that NISBA oppose any legislation or budget initiatives that would allow New York State to overrule local zoning ordinances.
How the heck do you do that? I mean, really?
Support.
This resolution is asking NISBA to oppose legislation that would allow New York State to overrule local zoning ordinances.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. 39.
No, it would be a,
Becky, keep going.
Okay. 39, resolve that NISBA support law or requirement that each board member attain 6 hours professional development each year after they complete the required mandated training.
no.
What's this?
Okay, number 40, resolve that NISBA include as a legislative priority issue additions to the general municipal law allowing board members who serve on a local board of education the ability to participate in a district's life insurance plan at no cost to the board member and upon approval of the Board of Education. Such board members' participation in such plan will increase when the member is no longer serving on the board. They're saying life.
Health insurance, you'd be excited.
It's a little
That's a kind of fuzzy.
unclear the way it's written.
Because I read the policies, it's, people are protected while they work here, that the median ends
Right.
as soon as they do. And everybody gets an initial $10,000 policy, so they can buy more in increments on their age. So that's kind of a trick question.
It's
No, it's the question that board members can,
it is put forward by a Uniondale school board, and they're just saying that they're asking NISBA to include as a legislative priority issue additions to general municipal law, allowing board members who serve on boards of education the ability to participate in the district's life insurance plans at no cost to the member. Correct.
The only unclear thing is the last sentence. You would think when the board member is no longer a board member, it doesn't increase,
It would,
it would decrease.
correct. Decrease or cease altogether.
Continue paying for a board member's life insurance when he or she's no longer a board member.
I do too.
I read it differently.
Okay.
I read it as my assumption, this is an assumption, that it could be interpreted as the participation in the plan will increase, meaning that you may have the option to continue at an increased cost or a cost. Moving forward. That was the way I read it, but I have no idea. I don't
it's the way I
have it in
read
front
it
of me.
too.
You read it the way some entities have it for their employees also. And it's because I know that some entities have it and it's specifically stated, I read it the other way,
Yeah.
because it's not stated. But that, I think that's where it was doing, but it's not expressed right.
So they would provide it while the board member was here. When the board member leaves, the board member can keep it but pay for it.
You would have to
Good. I say yay. Yes. We all yay on this one?
Okay?
Yay,
You're all a
yay, yay.
yes?
Sure.
Yay.
Okay. 41,
Sir, I'm sorry.
Yes. Votes yes.
resolved that NISBA include as a legislative priority issue changes to the education law allowing districts to vacate the position of a teacher or teaching assistant on leave for 1 year or more.
What's that?
If somebody is off for more than a year, if we support the resolution, would mean that the position would be vacated It would be termination, voluntary quit, whatever you want to call it.
And a permanent replacement.
Right.
Versus right now, if somebody is off, how long can somebody be off now? Maria?
Without being
Mark?
terminated.
There was always some question about whether it was 30 days only.
30 days.
You might have heard something back then.
I'm sorry?
There is a provision in there, for a year now, that they have a right to require them to come back. No?
How long can somebody stay off now?
If they're injured, they can stay out for up to a year. In our contract, the CSDA contract, they have up to 2 years.
Right, this is saying a year. I support.
This is teaching assistants.
This is teaching assistant.
Assistant.
How long can a teacher stay off?
They have up to 2 years too.
Okay, so this would, according to our contracts were 2, this would limit to 1. They would vacate their position.
Okay. Do you support the resolution, or?
Wouldn't we want to have control of that in our district?
I think it should be locally controlled.
I mean, it's collective probably bargaining, isn't it? Some of they would have to.
You would have to reopen their collective bargaining agreement.
No, not if the law changes.
Not if the law changes, because the law will supersede. You can't do anything in your collective bargaining agreement that's violated the law.
We want to control that number.
What we do right now when somebody is out. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Typically, they'll get a letter that advises them that they have 1 year to return to work, right? And then what'll happen is they won't be able to return to work after that year, and then they'll ask us to invoke the clause in their contract that gives them 1 more year. That's typically the way that it works right now when there's somebody who's out for a particular reason. Now remember, we also have people who are out sick. If they're out, they have sick bank. They can utilize all of their sick time. They can utilize the sick banks. So there's all kinds of ways that under our collective bargaining agreements, people can be off longer than a year. There's child rearing leaves for up to 2 years. Those are without pay. So my only recommendation to you, if you're even asking for one, which you haven't, but I'm giving it to you, is it's always best to retain your local control.
Yeah. So we
That's
want
all I
to
could
know.
say to you, is it's always best to retain your local control.
I agree.
Okay, so
I
it's
say
a
no.
no then for supporting the
We'll take care
resolution.
of our own business.
Okay, can I move on? Okay, number 42, resolve that New York State School Board supports and encourages legislation that modifies New York State's compulsory education law to require all minors who turn 5 years old on or before September 1st in any school year to receive full-time instruction from the first day of school is in session in September of such school year. And minors who turn 5 years old after September 1st of a school year to receive full-time instruction from the first day of school in the following September.
The other one. The other one.
Okay, so this is a no.
We're having a microphone problem, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't shut off. No one else could turn on.
We did that, oh, mine broke it too. Must be the 2 people who like to talk the most. Usually works. I can get you a handheld.
Oh, but you gotta shut mine off because I talk too much.
Me too, Russ. You wanna vote on this one? Was that, I heard?
I think it was a no, right? Number 42 was no?
42 was, well, they're suggesting no.
Well, 42 is, wow, we booted everything out.
Sure did.
Mike's still working though, it's still shot. So, okay. Oh, we're all messed up.
Okay, 43. Okay,
That was a no.
Okay.
42 was no.
Okay, 43, resolve that NISBA work with the New York State Educational Conference Board and its supportive members to call on the New York State Legislature
The purpose of tier 6 was to lessen the burden on school districts because of the antiquated pension system that is out there of the defined benefit. So, defined benefit is only in municipalities, school districts. The business world has gotten rid of that wherever they could. Because it's based on nothing except wage. The stock market and everything else, it doesn't matter. I won't support this. That's for us.
As union employees, I believe really shouldn't allow them to use themselves for that. Well, I mean, because, you know, people have to license. So everybody else was listed. I personally, I mean, it's, I'm a yes.
Well, I agree with you. Which number was it, 42?
this is 43.
43, we're back on, okay. All right.
Are we tied? We're not tied, so move on.
Okay, so let's just look at this real quick here. So what it's saying about tier 6, it wants to invoke tier 6 and keep tier 6 similar to another
Why don't you change tier 6 and bring it into line with tier 1 and 2?
Tiers 1 through 4, and it's looking to bring tiers 5 and 6 in line with, more in line with tiers 1 through 4.
So, I'll go with yes.
This is a benefit? This would be a positive.
This is a positive
It's a
for
benefit
the
to
employee.
I vote yes.
And the way I look at it is this, the tier does bring everybody, so, problem is all these other folks got this. And all these newer ones are getting this. And, yeah. Well, it just makes, well, you're taking out the chat, you're just making everybody like that. Yeah. Well, there'll be an issue coming up soon.
It does increase district cost.
Okay, so we have, I think it's, yeah, we're gonna vote yes. No? Yes?
He said no, you said no.
You said no.
He's a yes.
said yes.
I'm a yes.
Okay, so it's a yes.
Okay, so yes.
Okay, number 44, resolve that NISBA supports legislation that would require the state to develop and fully fund climate change curriculum for all public elementary and secondary schools in New York State.
Here comes Greta Thunberg.
Okay? Do you support the resolution, or?
I'm no.
You know what, you're not big on this climate stuff?
Yeah, I vote yes.
I'll vote
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes,
Sure.
yes, I guess it's yes.
It's just putting it in the curriculum, correct? It's making it part of the curriculum, as teaching that as you, like, teaching climate control, and working it into your what, earth science?
Okay? So it's a yes? We'll move on?
It's yes.
Okay. Okay. Number 45, resolve that NISBA supports a revision of the state legislation to allow New York State Education Department, charter schools, or non-public school employees to serve on New York State Boards of Education.
Who the heck put Schenectady? Many people.
So,
No way. No, right?
no,
Oh,
they mean serve on school boards. Yeah.
Oh, no, well, that's all we need, crap. Yeah, while they're taking money from us, yeah.
No? No's?
Okay, that's no. 46, resolve that NISBA will advocate for the reinstatement of the religious exemption to immunizations.
Good old Massapequa.
I'm no. Nesba's no.
We're just allowing, if we go to council, it's allowing someone to opt out of their religious exemption, right?
Yeah.
But now you have the conspiracy theorists with the vaccines, and you're gonna get that going, and they're gonna say, well, I'm religious,
I'm a no. Nesba's no. Gentlemen, ladies,
Do you,
I have a yes. Yes, 2 yeses.
I'm a yes.
Yes. A no. 3 to 2. Three, two, who didn't vote? You didn't vote.
No.
1, 2, 3, no, so I missed one. 4, 5, 6, 7. No, wait, no's, show your hand. 1, 2, 3 no's. Yays, show your hand. Yays. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, yay.
so you're voting yes. Okay. Number 47. Okay. Resolve that NISBA will advocate for adoption of parental rights legislation.
No,
Parental rights, I'm a little fuzzy on the parental right thing. As in,
they have rights granted now by the state. Not gonna give them more.
they already have it?
Yeah, you got, all parents have rights.
This is like nitpicking things they don't put in the
Okay. Do we move on or?
Hold on, no, folks, no, 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 no. No, move on.
No, yeah, move on.
Move on, that's no. Number 48, resolve that NISBA will oppose any mandates from the State Education Department regarding matters not pertaining to academic standards and subjects, example, math, science, reading, writing, and social studies, that have not been approved by an up-down vote of the New York State Legislature.
Oppose any mandates.
They oppose any mandates, they're looking for our support to oppose the state legislators' mandates?
Wants to vote no on that.
NISBA is not recommending supporting that resolution.
And I'm agreeing.
For state, for legislators to put in these mandates?
No, the state has approved mandates that haven't been voted on by legislators. So if the state had
Correct.
approved another mandate, this says that it should go into effect until the legislature.
Disagree, no.
Okay, so
They
you'll
can't get
vote
anything
no?
done in Albany, nothing will get done.
Nothing will get done.
No.
No.
So you don't,
I'm a no. We're
you're a
supporting
no for
NESBA.
that, supporting that resolution?
No.
Okay.
She's saying yay, 1, 2, Rob? You're yes or no? You're a yay. It should pass legislators before it goes into effect. Okay, he says yes.
What do you folks think?
You're no.
Because it's something
I'll take forever to get it. You
That's why I
kidding me?
say no, it could be forever.
Could be ever. The way I understand this, State Education Department says we close schools because of COVID. It's got to pass the legislative committee, the Senate and the Assembly before they can do that. That's the way that reads.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely no.
You know, certain things you got to make a split-second decision.
And certain things we need
Albany,
local control over, so. yeah.
Albany can't get in. I'm supporting Nesbitt on a no. He's a yes, unless he
Okay.
changes.
So you do not support the resolution, you do.
You do.
I say
Anyone
no.
else?
I have another no. I have a no for Mike. I have
It'll
a
take
no.
50
It's a
years
no.
to get it.
Move on.
Okay. 49, resolve that NISBA will advocate for local control by school boards and/or county executives.
County executive. What do they call it?
It just says local control.
Local control. Good old Massapequa.
We want local control. That's the whole purpose. We want control. So the answer is yes, we want to control. That's kind of where I was going, we want to control our decision. So this one is a yes.
And why did they stick the county executive language in here?
Because polling cars doesn't have anything else to do.
We don't have a county executive.
No,
in Iowa.
because, so we're supporting local control, so that would be a yes. It's Massapequa, don't they have anything else to do?
Every year, I've been on this board for 10 years, I didn't even know how to say that word, Massapequa, until I came on this board.
Yeah, they got nothing better to do.
Number 50, resolve that NISBA will oppose any legislation or New York State Education Department regulation mandating comprehensive K through 12 gender and sexuality education. This resolution is wants NISBA to oppose legislation. I am not familiar with.
What was that, Earl, what was your question?
Mark, what do you think of that one, buddy?
Hi, what?
Oh, Massapequa?
Rich district,
It's very wealthy.
very wealthy.
Yeah, that's why. That answers the question.
Man. All these dudes do is think about stuff.
Okay.
Much.
Okay, so what did they want us to do, oppose
Any legislation or regulation mandating comprehensive K-12 gender and sexuality education.
So if we vote yes, we're against that.
No, if you vote yes on the resolution, you're asking NISBA to oppose legislation.
Right, but if we vote yes, we now say we're opposed to legislation.
Correct.
NISBA's suggestion is a no.
Correct.
Yeah. If you vote no, it at least gives plausible deniability for districts or boards, because you can always say that, well, if the state mandates it, our hands are tied.
I say no.
You know what I'm saying?
I do agree with that.
Yeah,
Let the state figure it out,
let the state figure it out.
okay? I'm not-
Massapequa's,
no, right?
sorry,
Pardon me?
no, 98% white, and the median income's $150,000.
Oh, they're well off. What's our median income about? 30?
So we're
33.
we're voting no with NESBA and against Massapequa.
So vote no on
Yep.
50.
Yep.
So number 51, resolve that NISBA will oppose any reduction to the requirements and/or standards related to history and civics in the New York State school curriculum. In addition, advocate to keep Regents exams in U.S. history, government and global history as a requirement of end-of-year coursework.
We already said no. No, Max?
That's no.
Yeah, we already voted no on Region, so it's a no.
We support alternative pathways to graduation.
Correct.
We support NESBA on a no.
Well, I hope you do, I do.
Yep, so you're voting no on the resolution.
Correct.
Number 52, resolve that NISBA will advocate to further prioritize school district, student, and school staff safety by expanding New York City's and counties' police departments' school resource program, which have been successful in areas of New York State where utilized.
What do you think of that, Paul?
I support Paul's reasoning. That's a no.
It's a no.
No,
Okay.
no, no, move on.
To have a law
It's
for
too prescriptive, yeah.
53, resolve that NISBA work together with affected school districts and others to rescind or modify the Board of Regents policy regarding school mascots and imagery.
No.
Okay. No?
Supporting NESBA.
Number 54.
Sounds like a very, interesting name.
Resolve that NISBA does now proclaim its full support and endorsement of the requirement that school security guards receive and be required to obtain the specialized school-specific security training.
NESBA says no. School-specific. And then you would not have, in our case, we wouldn't be able to move them around. Yep, no.
Okay?
Agree with NESBA.
Okay, gentlemen and ladies, we're almost there. Number 55, resolve that NISBA support legislation at the state level that would set limits on the start time for schools to be no earlier than 8 a.m.
No,
Okay.
well, because of the bus, it's a busing issue.
We can't do that.
Okay, number 56, resolve that NISBA oppose the reformulation of smart snacks in schools which serve to confuse students and parents as to the true nutritional value of such snacks, chips, cookies, etc. Smart snacks should return to the USDA's 2014 original intent of more healthy options such as fresh fruit and vegetables, whereas currently smart snacks offered are virtually indistinguishable versions widely sold outside of schools. So that's the final resolution.
Vote no. The NESBA says no, I say no.
No.
Okay, so
No.
that's a no, and
Gentlemen, ladies,
congratulations,
No,
you
thank
have made it through your NISBA resolutions.
Yeah, I just want to say, Becky, you got a B. Not bad, B.
I got a B.
B, a B
I'll take it.
degree. Thank you, everybody. Judy, are you good? She's so good, she left.
Blew right out of it.
She left.
okay, we need to appoint who's gonna vote at the meeting. Tony, you're next. Monday, the 16th, 4 o'clock. I did it 30 times.
No, it's in October.
Tony?
It is, I have it written down here.
Anybody want to do it? Ladies and gentlemen, anyone want to be the representative of the board?
Monday, October 16th at 4
4
p.m.
o'clock.
How long does it take?
Pardon me?
How long does it take?
Couple hours.
No, you can do it here.
It's virtual.
You can do it here. You can come here or you're home,
You can do it at home, smartphone, computer,
or here. Buffalo.
yeah. The conference is the week after, Judy?
No,
Week after this.
the conference is, the vote is Monday, the 16th, virtually at 4 o'clock. The conference is Thursday, the 25th,
Yeah.
Friday, the 26th, and Saturday, the 27th in Buffalo.
How many think Nick Filardo should do it? All right. Well, I have a motion, a second for Nick.
Yes, Nick.
All in favor? Nick's our representative.
Nick's our man. He's taking a train to New Orleans, but Nick's our man.
We have a meeting, and we have a meeting next 2 weeks, so we can verify it.
Yeah.
He will be here.
Where's Judy?
If I can,
Call Nick up and tell him he's the representative. Leave it to you.
Go ahead.
what I'd like to do is take you through your voting agenda for the 28th. That's all we have left. First of all, we'll open the meeting with our usual pledge prayer. We have the August graduates, along with Mrs. Villardo and team from Niagara Falls High School. We'll present those to you at 7 o'clock. NISBA will be here to give you an award, and then we will be introducing everyone from the Massapequa School District. After that, after Massapequa leaves, we're going to have the minutes, budget transfer number 2. We're going to ask for your support on 2 bids. I do not have the apparent low bidders. I'm going to ask Earl and Becky to speak to these just briefly. We have a couple of gym floors that need some major refinishing. One is the auxiliary gym at Niagara Falls High School, and where's the other one, Earl?
Right across the street at Cataract
And
Elementary.
Cataract Elementary. We needed to put those out to bid. Those are more than just a coat of wax. So Cataract and Niagara Falls High School's Aux Gym. The bids are due on the 19th of September at 2 o'clock, and we've already received 2 sealed bids. When are we going to do it? We're going to do the high school during Christmas break.
Cataract during Christmas break
Both,
as well.
both during Christmas break. Those floors are badly in need of resurfacing.
They're the regular wood gym, oak floor type gym, or are they that other stuff, that old plasticky?
They're hardwood maple floors. Cataract is a little bit different of a configuration than a typical gym floor, but it's just a hard maple floor.
Okay, I will, as I said, we've already received 2 bids. On the 19th, I will email you all the apparent low bidders so you know who will be the recommendation that evening. And also, you know, we do paint supplies. We haven't received any bids to my knowledge at this point, but I'm sure we will. There's a treasurer's report, a budget status report, and then there is Miss Maria. Would you like to come forward, please, and walk us through the personnel reports? And I'm sure you're going to tell the board that it's fluid. Thank you, ma'am. So we're having a board meeting here. Maria, would you like to take the board through the, how about if we do the certificated report first?
So, we have some resignations. We have a business teacher, a teaching assistant, and a social studies teacher who've resigned since we last met. We have some probationary appointments for you there, and there will be more of these, but, science teacher, speech teacher, physical education teacher, and a music teacher. Regular substitute appointments, these are for teaching assistants, special education teachers, and teaching assistants. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm not going to go through all of those with you. One thing that you will note as you're going through is we have been able to recruit back some of our retirees. So when you're asking yourself there, what needs to fix this?
It's a split, top and bottom.
Yeah, so he teaches in the morning, and yes, his afternoon is always for his union.
No, but no, I meant for that particular.
Well, because the rest of the day, there's a morning assignment for her as a teaching assistant, and that makes one full
We just
day.
can't combine it into one, it's gotta be.
Because it's two separate, one is a teacher and one's a teaching assistant.
Mm-hmm.
We have no tenure appointments, and then, as you move through, you'll see the rest of it again is, Schedule E and some per diem work. Next week, or in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
we will have, additions to this report. We're hiring additional staff members. We have, had a couple of extra resignations that we had to get replacements for, and, Mr. Brewer is gonna make some donations.
Right, thanks, Maria, for leading me to that. I was going to make 3 points on the personnel report certificated side. We have used retired teachers, so you're aware. That's number one. Number two, I believe Maria's area of work in the next couple of days, weeks, is in particular with regard to science. You can see we had we have an, pardon me?
It's not on here yet.
So right now, I want to be very transparent and upfront. We have a science teacher who will be leaving us in 30 days, and we will need to fill that class. So we have all hands on deck for science. That is the area of concern this month, right? Today we're good, but in 30 days we have to have a science teacher, okay? That's because of a resignation that is not on here yet. Thirdly, I have been negligent because I don't talk to Maria during the day because we are both going different ways. I would like to put our probationary appointments on there. I'm a month behind. I promised you on the 24th. I own that. I have a scheduled meeting with her tomorrow at noon, and hopefully at that time we can fill out all of the probationary appointments. And those probationary appointments are people currently teaching for us who have been evaluated by the principals as worthy of a probationary appointment. So that will add quite a few pages to this report. It won't change their location, their pay, their position points. It will only change their status in terms of APPR and seniority. Not seniority, working toward the 4 years of tenure. So I do owe her that. That will be added.
Okay, moving on to the classified report, we're experiencing some of the same issues with the classified staff. We had a retirement, and we did have several resignations, as you can see there. So we are working to replace the resignations as soon as we receive them. Under the provisional appointments, you'll see the appointment of a secretary and an accountant. Under probationary appointments, you see all the assistant child care associates that we have needed to add, in addition to safety officers, food service helpers, and special education classroom associates. Moving to page 5 of 9, you see we're hiring folks in pre-K, and as you read on page 6 of 9, some temporary appointments. These are covering for long-term absences, and in some cases for people who have taken positions as teaching assistants in the district. This is some transfers, a change of status for a groundskeeper from temporary to probationary, and leaves of absence and additional hours. Our hope for in the next classified report that we receive this month, which we may do it in October, is for you to reappoint all the associates. You need to do that annually. We typically do that in the month of September, so our hope is to get those in.
Right. So the associates are year-to-year appointments that you need to, they're in place, but you need to actually vote on them. I just want to go through an exercise with Maria and just say something to you. I have now had the pleasure, and I'll say this in my concluding remarks this evening, I've had the pleasure of visiting every school, every classroom. Folks, we have a lot of people working in our schools, and our kids need it. We are well-staffed. I told you about the science concern, and I told you that we're using retirees. I just want to be upfront about that. Now, as we go to the classified staff, I think we're in just as strong a position. Associates are everywhere. Maria, do you have any concerns or major gaps either in clerical, maintenance, nurses, cleaners?
No major gaps. We can always use substitute cleaners, we can always use sub-associates. Where we would like to add to our staff is a nurse. We would like to be able to hire a nurse.
Yeah.
Or even two, but definitely one.
Right. So if I were to tell you a concern on this side of the house, we really could use a nurse. And let me just elaborate a little bit more. We have more medically fragile children than we ever have. We are using, we have nurses who attend football and cheerleading practices. We have nurses all over the place. And that's a good thing because of the fragility of our children. But we are really looking for another school nurse. So on the teaching side, it is a science teacher. On the non-instructional side, I would say it's a nurse. And we would like some more substitute cleaners, just so that you're aware of where our needs are. Can we operate the district as efficiently as we are doing? Yes. Would we be better off with those positions? Yes. So that's a very honest report. And of course, we would love more instructional substitutes, but always. But that worm has not turned yet. Earl?
When we say cleaners, how many are we talking? Was that like 5 to 10?
I would say yes, and I'm looking at Earl, he's shaking his head too. We wouldn't turn anybody away though, that's one thing that I would share is because it would be nice to be able to rotate folks so that they don't always get tired. It'd be nice to get looks at new folks so that when we make promotions, we have people ready to backfill. So I don't think we'd turn anybody away, but 5 to 10 is good.
Okay.
So I would say we can adequately clean the buildings. It's a good bullpen of the next group of cleaners when we unfortunately have an illness or injury or retirement. So we really want to build that cadre. And I'm saying this publicly on television and also encouraging board members who may know people in the community to send those names forward, and we'll walk them through the process. I know we get names from every day. Every day we get names, and I know the board members will be getting in schools soon if they haven't been there. You will be impressed with the staff. We have adults everywhere, and it's good to see. It really, really is. It strikes me so apparently when I walk through the schools. But we know how sometimes illnesses and things come into play. Other questions for Maria? So there will be those additions for you to vote on. I'll try to keep you as updated as I can. Thank you very much. We have our committee reports. We have 4 short-term contracts this month only. Niagara University, that is staff development for TESOL. Niagara University calls ENL or ESL, English as a New Language, TESOL. So that's staff development. NARP, we've done many times. That is restorative justice training. Jeffrey Warren is a former counselor here, and he's working with Mr. Brundage, and they're going to be working on counseling with our middle school students, or prep school, I should say. And Ms. Brooks is a social worker, a pastor in the community. She is going to work with our middle school students as well as bond students. She's going to be working with all of the second grade children at Bond and all of the middle school girls to do support groups. That's Pastor Brooks. She's worked with us in the past. We don't anticipate any more short-term contracts. We have our Head Start reports, and we have quite a litany of resolutions, and let me go through them. And please stop me if you have any questions or concerns. We have a 3-year learning technology grant. This is for you to receive $302,818. Number 2 is the Teacher Resource Center. This is for you to receive $66,938.
Mark, if I can stop you there.
You may.
Teacher Resource Center, we need a representative for the board, from the board.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. We'll settle that next week.
Rick or Maria, has the Teacher Resource Center met?
We're meeting next
The 27th.
the first meeting.
Okay.
We meet about 4 times a year. It's on TIP and TRC.
So 4 times a year, there's a board seat on that teacher resource center.
They're usually late in the
I've
afternoon.
been doing it for the past 3 or 4 years. Somebody else's turn.
They are doing a lot of talking about fracking during the
Oh,
teacher
my-
meeting.
my-
I'm kidding, I'm kidding, I'm
Nick
kidding.
Filardo, that sounds like another, how about Nick, guys?
We are asking you in 603 to accept $350,000 in a grant for extended school day violence prevention. Remember, I say this mainly because our board members are in tune, but many of these short-term contracts and other appointments are paid for out of F codes. These grants that we're accepting allow us to do that. 604 is for our Indian education grant. That is $109,068. We currently service only elementary students in Indian education, and there are 202 Native students in our elementary schools. 202 is the number. There is the exciting appointment to the designee for the October 16th meeting. 606 is an agreement with Easter Seals to provide service to a special education student. 607 is again an agreement to provide a contract with the dyslexia therapy professionals, Western New York dyslexia specialists, for evaluation of students. We pay by the hour for those kind of evaluations when needed. It also ties into the science of reading, which I'm going to ask Rick to talk a little bit about in a moment. 608 is an amended contract for a behavior analysis service. This came up because of an IEP and a parent request to evaluate a student's behavior from an outside source. 609 we've been doing for many, 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 many years. This is Chef Bobby, his barista program, his food programs in the middle school and high school, his cantina program, which we have a lot of kids getting involved in.
Hold on 1 second. Quick question. So has the numbers on the, I like to call it F-Bites, but.
Yeah, it is F-Bites. Yeah.
Is it still staying
Oh,
around
yeah,
the same?
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
increasing?
It's always, we're always trying to fit kids in there because there's a great desire to be part of it.
Because it's a great program.
It really is. And gosh, this has been going on 5 or 6 years. 610 is our ability to use a grant to pay for latchkey for families that can't afford it. So we use one of our grants, the 21st Century Grant, and we do use a little bit of American Rescue Fund money for the Boys and Girls Club to do after-school programming for our latchkey kids, so that many of our parents who can't afford it get after-school programming. 611 is Playworks. If you remember when Ms. Tompkins, Ms. Buckman, Mr. Marino, and Ms. Brundage are here, they have a recess coach. This is Coach Jasmine. She's been working with them since we've done sister schools, and it provides recess support. Jasmine Richmond is her name and does a great job to the schools. I'm on 612. This is Miss Marcia McWilson. Some of you may know her. Some of you may not be familiar with her. She works in our schools. 613 is our agreement with the community missions. They do girls' circles, and we pay for this program through a grant. 614 is for LaSalle and Gaskill. We pay for after-school programming through the grant, and they teach the kids yoga. 615 is the approval of literacy programming with Niagara University, and you see there it's paid for by the 21st Century and Empire State Grant. 616 and 617 are the continuance of 2 individuals in the community who work with the Black Excellence Program that Mrs. Jones started. These two gentlemen work with a group of men and women at Niagara Falls High School and support their needs. And it's a very, I believe you had a gentleman come before you at one of your board meetings and speak about what one of them had done with the group. 618, I really want to spend a moment talking about 618. This is for Wilson language training. Why do I want to spend a moment talking about this? Wilson language is our training and our work on phonics. I want to talk about this, and I really want Rick to explain this, because I know our board members know, but I want the viewing public to know and hear this. Wilson language is the program that Rick Corella has successfully and stridently guided us to work with to teach phonics. We do teach phonics in our elementary schools, particularly in grades K to 2, but we also have a part of it in grades 3 through 5. Wilson Language is a good program selected by Rick with the teacher's input. Could you just expound on what we're doing with Wilson Language, Rick?
Sure. Wilson Language is the publisher of the Foundations Phonics program, which is what we use in our schools in grades K1 and 2, and we have for over 10 years. It's thoroughly grounded in the science of reading, and it is a multimodal methodology for teaching phonics, which is based on the Orton-Gillingham method.
Right.
This program is a multi-service, this contract rather is a multi-service contract. It has several things within it. The first thing is virtual training for our principals to enable them to become more familiar with the phonics program and to be able to observe teachers teaching it and give them effective feedback. That will be done virtually. It will be 4 or 5 sessions throughout the school year after school hours. The second thing that is involved here is a very important one, and that is training for 3 of our PEP teachers to become in-district trainers. Typically, when we have new teachers or we need more in-depth training, we have to contract with the company. But the company provides a pathway whereby we can have our own teachers trained and certified to deliver any kind of professional development that we need from here on in throughout the rest of their career. So that means launch training for new teachers or continuing training for our veteran teachers. That will be very important. There's 2 levels of that training. It can be accomplished in as little as a year. It may take a little bit more than that, but once the teachers are finished and certified, they can do all of our in-house training and we won't have to pay for it anymore. The third piece of it is we are going to institute 3 demonstration teaching schools. What I mean by that is extra professional development is provided within 3 of our schools, and in particular in 1 model classroom within those schools. So we'll have a teacher volunteer to be a model classroom teacher at each grade level. They will get extra support, and then their classroom becomes a model for other teachers to come in and watch the instruction to learn more from a very skilled, mastered teacher about how to teach phonics effectively. That involves 4 to 5 days of training and support from the company times 3 for 3 of our schools. Those schools will be Bleneva Bond, Calfus Primary, and Hyde Park Elementary. And I believe, Mr. Laurie, that encompasses everything that's in the contract.
So you may wonder why did I pull up and ask Rick to go into that detailed presentation, and I'm really intentional in doing that. 1, I'd like the viewing public to know we teach phonics in the Niagara Falls School District. 2, I know there is a very large legislative push in Albany and around the state with respect to the science of reading. And I think if you measured the program, and I won't take one bit of credit for it, I would ask you to support this, that Mr. Corella has laid out. We exceed most districts in how we implement the teaching of the science of reading. And I just wanted to put that on the record, and I appreciate Rick's work in leading that. We don't need legislation to tell us to do that. We know that that and the rest of the balanced literacy program we have is the right thing for kids. 619 is for Ms. Tanyetta Carter. She's working with our school social workers. 620 is Modi Cox. He's got a program called Winning Because I Tried. Modi, like Chef Bobby and F-Bites, have been with us for 5 to 7 years, and he's extremely influential with our students. 621 was a highly successful program we did for parents. These are Saturday classes for our English as New Language parents held at Abbott every Saturday morning. So these are for new parents, parents of English as New Language children. We did a fall semester and a spring semester, and the only problem we're having with this is that we're getting calls from other parents from outside the school district asking to come to our program because it's been so successful. But I take that as a tip of the cap to those ENL teachers who are putting this together. 622 is the agreement with Mr. Cunningham. He has expanded his cadre of workers for his truancy prevention program. 623 is a program for Head Start. It's called Pedals. I know it's something that the Head Start program needs to use as a protocol for teaching and learning. 624 is with another person we've used for many, many years, the Reverend Gene Copeland, and he is working with Gaskill students and LaSalle Prep students. We've put a lot of resources into our middle school social emotional programming, and we do have a lot of grant money for that type of programs. 625 is for the approval to pay CIR, one of our PLA companies, $19,028.27 for electrical work they've been doing on the ARP project. And 626 is to pay DV Brown, another PLA company that you've approved, for the HVAC work at our ARP schools of Bond, Kelphus, and not Bond, Kelphus? Kelphus and Niagara Falls High School, not Bond yet. Kelphus and Niagara Falls High School. Thank you, Earl. In your folder, there is an additional resolution. This resolution I mentioned to you earlier in the week. I'm going to ask Judy to add this into your voting agenda. It is an agreement to pay the Niagara Wheatfield School District for a student that they educated for us, a special education student who moved in the middle of the year, but whose parent had wanted them to finish the school year at Niagara Wheatfield. We agreed, in the interest of continuity for the student, to let him or her stay there, but we do owe Niagara Wheatfield for that payment, and this will authorize our payment. Members of the board, we do have a couple of policies, and I'm going to hope Maria can help us with these as well, but I do want to call your attention to 701, Mr. Petrosi. Recall the conversation about the fact that we wanted to get away from the term limits on our president earlier in the year, in the voting year. Remember, we wanted to change that. So this is allowing us to, I believe, remove the term limits on the president and vice president. You recall what we're doing here? Okay? It's your purview whether you want to table it for 30 days or not. That's up to you.
What do we review and then make the change, and then we have to put it on the table, or?
Yeah, you could do that.
And then 30 days?
You can come and vote on it.
Or do we just change it?
It's your pleasure.
What do we normally do?
I'm sorry, with 701, you can table it for 30 days
Yep.
and then vote on it. With the next three, we're asking that you waive the tabling and vote on them on the 30th.
I really don't see any harm in leaving that on the table.
Okay, but actually, I'm asking the question the wrong way. We have to make the change first, though, correct? Or is this the change?
This policy indicates the change.
The change is
That's my
presented to you in the
question.
policy.
The change is in
correct.
this policy, so we can wait 30 days and then vote on it.
Correct.
Because you're not going to, God forbid, you're not going to appoint another vice president in the next 30 days.
No, we hope not.
Right, God forbid.
That's for sure.
However, 702, 703, and 704, which are in your manila folder, I'd like Maria to speak to, because in these cases, we're going to ask you to waive the 30-day tabling, because we have to submit these by September 30th. Can you take some, these ones I'm going to ask you to waive. And Maria, could you take us through why and what they are?
You're saying 02, 03, and 04?
02, 03, and 04 are in your folder, yep.
Gotcha.
So in looking at 02, 03, and 04, think about it in terms of our district and our district programs, our district employees, and our district students, okay? So 3220, which was policy 702, you currently have in place, actually you currently have all of them in place, but there have been some changes. That is the policy that we're required to have all staff review and sign off on annually, and we're required to provide training annually on non-discrimination and anti-harassment in the school district, and that also has the grievance procedure and process attached to it. So we obtain that from our policy service. We also obtain copies of the presentation from NYSER. We work with NYSER on this one. And we have employees do their annual training. Now, we've already trained all of the teachers this year. Coming up at the end of September and in the month of October, we're going to be training the food service, associates, and maintenance staff. So the changes to that policy have to do with some new regulations about bystanders and encouraging bystanders to intervene if they see incidents of discrimination and harassment occurring. So you're just being asked to amend that policy. There are no huge amendments except for the introduction of bystander and upstander information. Moving down to the item number 704, policy 6121. That's about sexual harassment in the workplace, so that applies to obviously employees and any other vendors or independent contractors that would be working in our district. So when you look at that policy, what happens with that policy is obviously you're against it, some additional updates to it, and then policy 3420 shows the procedure to happen if that's violated. The Title IX and the sex discrimination policy is tied up in a couple of things. First of all, it was time to take a look at it, and it's time to take a look again at some of your other policies, and we're going to start to bring those back to you in the future. As a matter of fact, coming up this year, I was going to be asking Mr. Petrozzi and Mr. Pareto and Mr. Laurie if it would be okay to start re-looking at our policies, because some of them, again, are starting to get dated since the last time we looked through them. But with respect to Title IX and sex discrimination, that's the policy and the federal regulation that deals with sexual harassment and discrimination in programs, in sports, as it applies to not only employees, but to students. So one of the things that we were asked to do by the United States Department of Education is re-look at that policy and re-look at our grievance procedure that we were following in that policy, because we hadn't updated it in a bit. I worked with an attorney from the United States Department of Education, and he has reviewed that policy with me and approved the policy that we've put before you today. So that's why, and he's also asked if you would be so kind as to review it, consider it, and adopt it at your September 28th meeting.
So in all cases, 02, 03, and 04, these are trainings, these are changes to the policy that we had to go through. These meet the United States Attorney's request on 703. We're going to ask you to waive the tabling period for those three. Trust that you can read them, and if you have questions, really call Maria. They fall perfectly in line with the requirements of the state and federal and local liability and expectation, and we want to make sure that we have those official policies adopted. Any questions on those? I did want to mention too, and Maria mentioned it, every one of our teaching staff, and she mentioned the other divisions, goes through a series of about 6 different modules that you have to watch and take a test on, including myself. On 5 of the modules, I scored a perfect score. On the Education Law 2D, which is about, it's Ray's area about technology and phishing and all that, I had to retake the test 2 times, but I did pass it the 3rd time. It's very, very hard. But we all took it, and I'm looking at everybody, making sure that you're all nodding your head, and you all took it. But this just certifies that we all are part of those policies that we have to take. From there, we'll have any public comments on non-agenda items. I believe you will see a speaker who is coming to you with respect to honoring a military veteran. He would like to ask you to honor a military veteran, and I'll be happy to entertain some reasons how we can. That meeting is on the 28th of September. As I said, we do have students coming who are receiving their diploma. And NSBA will be here as well to give you an award for another innovative program that you supported. That's our agenda for the night.
Okay, one more quick question, Maria. The Teachers Resource Center meets the 29th?
27th.
So the day before our meeting.
Wednesday.
Anybody here wants to represent us? Teacher Resource Center for four times a year. A year.
September 27th, Wednesday.
4 o'clock.
It's about an hour, Maria, Rick?
About an hour. If they get enough people present in person, they can do virtual. So if somebody's interested in participating virtually, typically they get enough members present in person so you can do it virtually.
Well, if we could do it virtual, I'll do it.
Okay.
Maria or Rick, would you explain, Ms. Dunn asked the question, what goes on at a MTIP and a Teacher Center meeting?
Well, in the MTIP meeting, we usually review the pairings. So we look at the pairings between our newer teachers and their mentors. We talk about any problems. We talk about if there's any need to change the pairings. We look at the budget. We look to see if there's any way to expand it. We talk about the credits that they receive. Am I missing anything on the MTIP? Right. Making sure that they're logging their hours. Just general monitoring of the fact that our mentor program is strong in the district because we believe in it and we want to, and we have a grant for it as well, and we want to make sure that we're monitoring it appropriately.
Who are the participants again?
In the mentor meeting?
In this meeting, who are the participants?
In the mentor meeting, there's very few. There's the person that is responsible for the grant, and that's Tom Fisher, the director of the Teacher Resource Center. I participate, Rick Corella participates, and there are 2 other members of the TRC that participate as well. The larger group is the Teacher Resource Center Policy Board, and that is made up of, the majority of that board is made up of teachers, but there are representatives from district administration, the dean of the College of Education, there's a representative from each union invited to the meeting, and the, who am I missing?
What time is it? What time is it again?
4 o'clock.
It's
Wednesdays
for
at
1 hour?
It's about an hour, hour and a half.
I'll do it. I'll offer to do it. I just might need a little bit of flexibility as far as a little bit late or need to leave a little bit early.
Sure. And as I mentioned before, what we can do is we can set you up for virtual.
If you can do virtual, then count me in.
Okay. We'll monitor it. I'll work with Mrs. Barstis, and I'll make sure that there's going to be enough present that we can have you be virtual, and then we'll send you the invitation.
Yeah. Yeah, Maria mentioned Mrs. Barstas. She's the director of the Teacher Center. Mr. President, member of the board, I just have a few closing updates, and that's all I have for this board this evening. I wanted to just speak for a moment and thank the chapel, your Golden Apple Award winner. They're going to be at Abbott on Saturday, working outside along with Earl's maintenance team to shore up the outside of Abbott, flower beds, gardens, benches, painting, all kinds of great work from the chapel. They bring out their congregation and they do a lot of good work, so I wanted to publicly thank the chapel. To Becky, I wanted to remind everybody that Becky will be leading an audit. She's actually leading 2 audits right now. Drescher and Malecki are scheduled to appear on Monday. Your external audit begins on Monday. Who's that? Drescher and Malecki for that group. Our internal audit is Bonadeo, and Denise Kobler is our internal claims auditor. She's an independent contractor. I also wanted to tell you that when that audit expires, is it the federal government or state government? The state education.
State Education Department
state-
monitoring federal money.
The State Education Department will be coming in on October 16th to monitor our CRISA, GEAR, ARP money. They come in on the 16th. I think they stay for a couple days, and they go through a lot of work. So Becky, Julie, Marcasia, Richard, the team over there is going to be very audit busy, but they're up to the challenge. I wanted to tell everyone that yesterday we met with the North Tonawanda administration, principals, and we are continuing our partnership with the North Tonawanda School District as a result of an incident that occurred around this time last year. We are bringing 30 students to the Underground Railroad as the first event with lunch and conversation, and then we're going to the North Tonawanda Historical Museum. Judy, if I'm getting that right, I know they're going to visit there. We're going to do some work with the students, but I did want to mention that we are back at it willingly with North Tonawanda. We are also going to be bringing in Open Buffalo to work with our students and hopefully work with our students and North Tonawanda students. I wanted to just close by saying to those viewing and to the board, we had a good opening. Sometimes you focus on the pebbles and you miss the rocks. The rocks are solid. There's solid rocks in the way we opened this school year. School is opened safely. The school was opened very smoothly, and that's attributable, first of all, to the central office staff, but to the principals in the building, the assistant principals, and of course to the teaching, cleaning, secretarial staff. We had a solid opening. I'm not going to sugarcoat or ignore the fact that our transportation still needs to be much improved. I will tell you that the last day and a half, I've seen marked improvement. And I know Becky has been working with me along with Mike and Casey, and we do have the Niagara Falls Coach Lines router in the room. We've seen marked improvement in transportation, but it shouldn't take us 4 or 5 days to get to this point. So I own that. I thank the parents and the students for their patience. Transportation wasn't as smooth as it should be. I'm not going to hide the fact that we could do better. I could do better. We will do better. I had a wonderful conversation with 5 10th grade students outside of Niagara Falls High School today. And they said, just the bus is crowded. We've got to wait for an overflow bus, and it's going to be 20 minutes. Can't you help us? And I apologize to them. They were remarkably patient and remarkably professional in asking me that. And I took their names, gave them to Miss Villardo, and said, I really appreciate the way you asked and approached, but you're right, I could do better. So I don't want to miss the fact that it was a good opening, great opening. that we have transportation work to do. However, the last day, day and a half has been markedly better. Tomorrow will be better. Next Monday will be even better. And we have to do a better job opening school year around that. Other than that, we are meeting again in 2 weeks on the 28th. We'll get to celebrate a few graduates and hopefully get your support on these resolutions and personnel that our team did so well in presenting. And Becky, really, I tease you and pick on you, but thanks for taking, and thanks for the board for taking the time to go through the resolutions. Appreciate you all. And to those that are watching, and I know so many people watch, so I thank Ray and Tommy and Wes who are putting this together. If you have a problem, your first line of defense is your child's teacher, always. No satisfaction there, your child's assistant, principal, and principal. No satisfaction there, that's what we're here for in central office. Thank you, Mr. Petrozzi and members of the board, and looking forward to another great year.
Good luck, everyone. Great opening. Colleagues and staff, thank you for this evening, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Good night, everyone.